Okay, hello everyone. My name is Richard McLaughlin. I guess, look, from the accent you can tell I'm an Aussie, but I'm based in Berlin where I'm a head of SEO, head of marketing, that kind of a guy. I run a closed SEO group where I make SEO videos and I share them with some SEO friends and experts around the world. I'm thinking of opening that group up, and so without further ado, I'm going to make my first let's make a video for everyone to have a look at so you can learn a bit about SEO, you can learn a bit about how I do SEO, and maybe learn a few things along the way. Alright, so what am I looking at here? I'm looking at Etsy, and I'm going to do a bit of a curbside look at Etsy and their SEO. Okay, so a bit of a background. Alright, so Etsy first came onto the scene about 2005, and they had a really gifted run with their SEO. For starters, at the time, there wasn't really a Wix or a Weebly or a website system like that where artisans and craftspersons could quickly build a cheap shop and get their products online. They had to build via a web developer, which was quite time-consuming and confusing and expensive, or just take their luck in a marketplace. Now, eBay and Amazon were around, but a bit expensive and not very artsy and crafty, and boom, along comes Etsy with their solution. Very artsy, very crafty, very, very low fees, pretty easy to put your products on. And so that's where the artisans and the craftspersons went to. Kind of exploded for Etsy in terms of traffic and SEO. A lot of good reasons for that. Okay, so these craftspersons that couldn't afford their own website and there was no real solution for them, they put their content pretty much solely on Etsy. So Etsy had all of this great unique content. These artisans would lovingly craft their descriptions about their products, lovingly talk about themselves as an artisan. So they had lots and lots of great unique content. When those artisans and craftspersons eventually then got themselves a WordPress blog or a small website, they would link back to the Etsy site because that's where their shop was. So the link building then got underway for Etsy. So boom, they've got their unique content. They've got lots of links happening. They've got industry acceptance as all of these artisans and craftspersons are coming together on this one site to sell their wear. So really a great start for Etsy. Alright, so time goes on and things change in this particular niche. For starters, it becomes much easier to have your own website. Much cheaper to build, much easier to build. Shopify comes onto the scene and you can have a website where you can sell your items. You can put it under your website address, your URL, but you've got an export ability, so you can export to all your channels, to your Amazon, your eBay, your Etsy, all these different channels. So all of a sudden Etsy's like, oh no, what? These craftspersons are no longer solely linking to their sole shop on Etsy. Maybe they're linking everywhere, maybe they're not linking at all. And the content is not so unique anymore. It's all over the place. What else happened? Look, speed became so important. Now, Etsy, it's by no means a slow website, but I don't really think that they've kept pace with the competition. I've had a bit of a click around this site, and it's not super fast. Look... The final kind of, well, it's not the nail in the coffin, but the final problem for Etsy, I guess, has been competition. Competition from both sides. In order to compete and scale, they've had to open the marketplace up a bit more. Okay, so you're not going to find big flat screen TVs on Etsy, but you are going to find some mass-produced items, or some items that are arguably not really so artsy and crafty as what the original items were. Maybe someone's taking a photo of their cat, and they've got a funny saying with it, and now they're getting that printed at a print-on-demand dropship service, or things like that, or they're buying some mass-produced things, and maybe they're giving it a bit of a polish, or maybe not even doing that. So look, it's not quite as artsy and crafty. They don't have the same uniqueness of content. Their links aren't quite as solid as before. Lots of issues. So I'm going to go through all of those things and tell you how I might address those. Certainly in the comments below, if you've got some ideas that you'd like to share, that would be super. Alright, so my process. Look, I've got a process where I go through all of the different SEO factors and I rate them. I work out what's the most important. I work out what they're all going to cost to fix. I'm not going to do this in this video. I'm just going to touch on some of the big issues. Alright, so let's start with speed, shall we? I'll run a test. Alright, so I'm just clicking on all jewellery. Alright, so I'm going to grab that and I'm going to stick that in here. So GT Metrics, love this site. Allows me to get a quick curbside look at what's going on with the speed. Alright, what else? Look, I've just put a few keywords in here to check rankings. Actually, the rankings are pretty solid. Look, you'd expect them to be solid for handmade, wouldn't you? They're a handmade, or originally a completely handmade marketplace. But then we're getting down into these big money keywords, and we're not number one. We're 3s and 5s and 7s. Wedding rings were down. Women's jewellery were down. I'm comparing with Amazon. Obviously, Amazon thinks that women's jewellery is it's an important key phrase because they must be targeting it to be number 3. And if Amazon's targeting it, you can guarantee that it's important. And wedding rings, they're way down. Now, anything below a 3 to me is you might as well not bother, and I'll show you why. Alright, so I've done a search here for wedding rings. So we've got all of these wedding rings for sale here. Yeah, they're all paid, they're all sponsored. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 paid ads, and these are big companies, yeah. So you're not really going to easily compete with these guys with their budgets. And then position 7 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, way down to Fraser Hart. Yep. So even on my big screen, off the first page, really, it's underneath the fold. So yeah, you really got to be aiming at top 3. Forget about this page 1. If you're not top 3 these days, it's like, yeah, you might as well go home. So look, 5, 5, 7, 12, 37, all of those can be improved. Alright, the next thing I like to do is have a look at the backlinks. Look, the backlinks here are pretty strong, and you can see that they still have quite a few links, yeah, from small shop owners. But I think if we went through this and we sorted these by date, the ratio of small shop owners linking back to their Etsy shop would be smaller than it was, say 2 or 5 years ago. I think something needs to be done about that. There's a lot of ways you can encourage a shop owner to link to their Etsy shop. Okay, what would I do? Look, I would run an index. I would run a crawler over all Etsy shop holder websites to see if they had icons on their website, like this one. Yeah, look at that one. They actually have an Etsy social media icon. So I would have a look for them, and I would see if they're running an Etsy. And if they're not, I would actually get one custom made to fit that icon set. I would analyze all of the different icon sets. I'd get a custom Etsy icon. I would contact all of the icon set designers, and I would get my Etsy my Etsy icon into their icon set. I would do everything I could. Yeah, because these links are gold. And look, not everyone's going to put a link in like that. Some of them are going to just want to put a link into their shop. Yeah, but if you don't find a link from an Etsy shop owner to their shop, ask them to do it. Give them some kind of an incentive. I'm not going to go into the details of what those incentives might be, but ask them for starters. Offer them an incentive. Secondly, get those links. Alright, let's have a look at performance. 4.7, look, that's not too shabby. But gee whiz, Etsy's got a bunch of money, lots of coins. So why are they only doing a 4.7? I'd expect no more than a 2.5. Let's have a look. Alright, so they're running a local CDN from a subdomain. I actually am a bit of a fan of that. I don't like using CloudFront. I don't like using these image these image services. They tend to actually be a bit slower overall. That's my experience anyway. Okay, but what's Etsy doing wrong? They're not serving the images the right size. They're serving them this big and then scaling them down, which means the file sizes are too big. And there's a lot of images on this page, so it's a lot of extra size. Defer passing of JavaScript. Okay, so look, you have to put some of the JavaScript in the head. You can put some of it in the bottom. I guarantee you, some of that can go in the footer. There's just no reason for all of that to be in the top JavaScript file. Optimize images. All right. Again, this is mind-boggling to me. Etsy, this massive company, is not running a proper lossless image compression service on their server. What that does is it takes an image that's this big and this quality, and it keeps it exactly the same size and the same quality. But just makes it a smaller file size. So it's just like, Yeah. It's like buying a t-shirt for 40 bucks and then you see the same t-shirt for 30 bucks. Yep, which one are you going to buy? And Google's buying speed. Oh, that sounded pretty bad. What, down at the down at Girl at the Park in the little no Girl at a Google likes speed. Oh, I'm just getting myself really flustered with this speed and Google. Google likes to see a fast website. All right, got myself sorted. They like to see a fast website. So if you're not using lossless image compression, Google's not having a good time. If Google's not having a good time, your rankings are going to be a little bit lower. And look at what we're talking about here. We're trying to get from 5 to 3 or 7 to 3. So it's all of these little things that are going to make a difference. Minimize redirects. Alright, that's not really a problem. They're all external. Leverage browser caching. Yeah, we haven't got leverage browser caching on for that file. Probably could be turned on. Specify image dimensions. Alright, this is a pretty common thing that I see with responsive websites, but you know what? You can sort this out. You can actually build a responsive website where the browser knows what the dimensions of the images being displayed are supposed to be without having to put it in the HTML. And that causes the page to render faster. So all of these, yeah, it's not the biggest problem in the world, that's why it's down the list, but there's no reason for it to happen. And if you're on Etsy with a mega budget, you should have none of these problems. Specify a cache validator. But I haven't got a cache validator specified for the image subdomain CDN. Inline, I wouldn't actually do that. Minify JavaScript. Yep, plenty of that we can minify. I mean, we're only talking about small amounts of data here. Now we're getting into the not so important. Yeah, we can minimize this too. Look, at the end of the day, if this was done, if we fixed all of these things, and then we maybe we look at a pre-creation of that page every 5 minutes and cache it, so that on average it's going to serve that cache version most of the time. It'll be super fast. I reckon we could get this down to about 1.5 seconds. Okay, now 1.5 seconds, that's so much faster than 4.7. People are having a better time on a fast website. Google can measure that better time and goes tick to Etsy. Google's going to be able to index more pages, so as content is improved, as content is added, it's going to get indexed faster on Etsy than on competitor sites. And when you're a marketplace and the same data is going out to lots and lots of places, you want to be super fast. You want Google to be indexing you first. All right, what else can we do? What else can we look at? Let's have a look at the narrative. Let's have a look at what people are talking about with regard to Etsy. Look, links are super important, and you want links from news, okay? Because news links can't really be bought. Okay, you can pay some bloggers to write about you. You can do all sorts of links trickery, but let's get some from news. All right, so we've got a businessy one because we've got this bit of a comparison with Amazon. Or Amazon. Human interest, that one's all right. Pet friendly, all right. So they're driving a little bit of the narrative. Look, I would be doing more than this. It's mainly businessy. Now, at its heart, this is supposed to be an artisans and craftspersons marketplace. So I think there should be a lot more press going out. Newswire. All right, so there's a few things going on here. All right, there's just too much businessy press. Now, businessy press is great, but if you're an artisans and craftspersons marketplace, you need to be getting some artisan and craftsperson-y press. There's just not enough of that going out. It also looks like that Etsy is still using Newswire for its press releases. Now, I'm not saying, I don't want to get down on Newswire too much here. It's just that if you publish on Newswire, what's going to happen is your press release is just going to get punched out to all of these low and medium level news outlets as well, and they'll publish your press release verbatim what you said to them. What you want to do is write your press releases. You want to get direct access to the best journalists in your niche around the world and directly post to them your press releases. That way you're much more likely to get articles written by the big journalists in the big press, and they're not going to just publish your press release, they're going to write something of their own because they're genuine journalists, as opposed to the news people who just publish your press release. You really don't want to have 1,000 versions of your press release out there on the net, linking back to your website. This is not a good look. You want all of those unique articles, because if the articles are unique from unique sources talking about you or talking about something you've done, those links are going to count. 1,000 absolutely identical articles published on press sites, not so good. What else can I see here? Stock, Amazon, Etsy back on its feet. Look, yeah, got to drive the narrative a bit more. I'd be giving a bit of a, come on, let's go to the PR team. What else can I see? All right. So we've got this problem now about the artisans are publishing their products out to all of these different marketplaces, which means the content's not so unique. All right, so look at this. We're looking at this particular item. All right, go Google, you good thing. So I'm going to search for that description, and I'm getting this website, parenting, Pinterest, shop style, amazing beads, polyvore. All right, so let's have a look at the actual product. Come on, you good thing. Their website's a bit slow too. All right, so it's not even the same product. There's the same description. All right, so I'm looking at this item, and it's got a non-unique description. It's not even the right description because it's for a different product. Well, maybe it is, I suppose. They're to titanium. So look, what I'd be doing is I would be grabbing a random, if I was Etsy, I'd be grabbing a random sentence from the product description, and I'd be submitting that to Google, and I'd be seeing if Etsy came back first. And if Etsy didn't come back first, I'd be seeing who does come back first. If it's the shop owner themselves, yep. If it's the website of Karen, well then I'd be saying, hey Karen, fantastic, you're doing really well with your shop, but how about you come back and you write something a bit more unique? We're trying to really market you on Etsy. If you've got a unique description, unique from different to your own shop, well then we'll promote you more. But there's something else going on here. Karen, I don't think, is the artisan. Like, this looks like it's a mass-produced item. So lots of people are selling it. What else is going on? Alright, let's have a look at this one. A unique printed pair of geometric triangle stud earrings, and it's by Mika Pete. And what does Mika Pete say? One of my own original patterns. So they're printed earrings. Okay. Or are they? What's the deal here? Go with IndiaMart. So maybe IndiaMart are making them? Maybe she got them printed with IndiaMart? Alright, so here we go with a product where it's a little bit iffy whether it's artsy and crafty. So I would have a bit more of a rating system. A rating system where you had arts and craft that was designed and handmade by the user, or designed and manufactured just for the user, or designed and manufactured externally, which I think is the case here. It might even be that this is a mass-produced product that's just been purchased. Not quite sure, but yeah. Again, search for that description, find out what's going on, and then in the admin of the Etsy shop owner say, look, it seems like we've got this bit of an issue with your content. By all means, just leave it there if you want to, but if you want to enrich your content, we'll give you a bonus in our rankings. It's going to appear higher up the listings. You're more likely to sell more. We're going to have a better site because we're going to have more unique content. That's going to improve our rankings, which in turn is going to increase your sales. So booyah, how about you go and do that? So over time, this is going to enrich the content of Etsy. It's also going to make a better user experience for the user, because they're going to be able to come in and go, oh, right, this is definitely a unique product, or it's not, or they're going to come in, there's going to be longer descriptions, more about the product, that sort of thing. Now, look, there's a few other ways that we can sort out link juice value. Okay, so all right, so back in the day, back in about 2007, 2008, it was really big to link juice funnel. So you'd get your links coming in, and then your pages that weren't much chop, you wouldn't link to them, or you would link to them, but you'd have a rel equals no follow on your links. Now that doesn't work anymore. That was sort of knocked on the head in about 2009 by Google. Google said, look, you can do it, but any of the link juice that is going down that rel equals no follow link, we're just going to chuck that away. No value there. So what websites did was they changed to a JavaScript link. So the idea was that Google wouldn't be able to follow that JavaScript link. Google now can, and people are worried about that. So then it was changed to a form submission in order to page rank sculpt. Now there's a lot of reasons to page rank sculpt. If you don't have quality data, quality listings, quality information, you don't want Google going down to those pages for two reasons. Say you've got 5,000 really good pages and 15 million really terrible duplicate content pages, you're going to get a bit of a bump bowl from Google for having the duplicate content pages anyway. Google's going to say, well, there's nothing unique about your site, why should we value you? But secondly, your page rank, your link value coming into your site, instead of just going to your 5,000 good pages, is also going to these 15 million junky pages, which you can't rank for anyway because the content's junk. So you want to try and keep it in your 5,000. Okay. The problem is, if you're an Etsy, you can't really do it, because eventually, even page rank sculpting by form submission, which is not what Google says at the moment, they're not saying don't do it. I think it is something that's going to be hit on the head at some point, because it's an artificial way of keeping the page rank into some of your pages. There are some biggish websites. There's a couple in Berlin that do it, that page rank sculpt using form submissions. They've got lots and lots of detailed pages, and they don't let Google find them. But I'm not recommending that a site like Etsy does it, because Google would be looking at what they're doing all the time. So if Etsy starts doing page rank sculpting or anything that's not even grey hat, it's maybe cream hat in terms of Google SEO wrongdoing, Google's very quickly going to go, no, you're not doing that, and butt bowl, and smack them on the head. So they've got to enrich their data. Okay, they can't really page rank sculpt with regard to form submissions. What I would look at though, is footer links. Do we need all of these on all pages? Maybe we don't. I'm not sure. Do we need all of these on all pages? Maybe we don't. Maybe there's a few ways we can cut down on some of the links. Not so many. Maybe a few. What else? Look, the user experience. Okay, so this is a craft site. Okay, so you don't want it to be an eBay where it's really techy, lots and lots of over-the-top filters and lots of links. I like how Etsy's got a pretty clean, sharp look. Some filters, but not a ridiculous amount of filters. But it's still a bit annoying to me that I have to, if I want to look at this one, I've got to click on it, I've got to go in, I've got to wait for the page to render, I've got to scroll down. I'm not really having a good time. I would add a quick view, so I could just click on that, pops up a quick view, gives me all the relevant information I need to be able to purchase that product, and I can click buy from that quick view. Instead of having to actually open up each one, I wouldn't be doing that, quick view. So let's recap. Page 1 is not good enough. You've got to be top 3. 5 seconds, 4.7 seconds, that's not fast enough. That really isn't. Okay, backlinks, got to get backlinks. Let's get some great news backlinks. Backlinks drive the narrative. It can't just be businessy ones. You've got to be punching out stuff to the press about what a wonderful place it is for arts and craft. Don't use a cheap press release system. You're just going to get really generic publishings of your press releases. What else would I be doing? Oh, look, run some competitions, run some videos, do like run a video competition where you offer to do features on different artisans and craftspersons. Build yourself back up as this well-known, well-respected marketplace that's all about the artisan and the craftsperson, not just about our share prices is taking off and with our new CEO. And I mean, that's all great and fine and awesome for the shareholders, but it's not so great necessarily for the artisans and the craftspersons. So I would add a little bit more about them, okay? And with those competitions, you're also going to generate backlinks, so it's just all super positive. Got to get links back from these artisans, okay? It's really, really important that you get links from them because they're ancillary businesses to art and craft marketplaces because they're the artisans and they're the craftspersons. Do something to make your content more unique. There are so many ways that we can provide incentives to the artisans and the craftspersons to give unique content to Etsy as opposed to other marketplaces. Some sort of a valuing system so that we could say, all right, this is a tier 1 absolute artisan and craftsperson, and this person, well, they're the designer, but they're not the manufacturer. Like, have some ability to filter between them. The other big marketplaces are coming. Amazon's got its own arts and crafts marketplace. There are some other marketplaces coming. It's always great to be first and have a big lead, but if it's the internet, you've always got to be looking over your shoulder to see who's coming. And Etsy, I can tell you they're coming. So I'm going to end it there, peeps. I hope this video has been of use to you and been as fun for you to watch as it is as it has been for me to make. I make about one of these every week. If you would like to be involved in my little private group of people who are interested in receiving SEO videos, send me a message and I will include you. Bye for now.